Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Gittings. I am the Director of Special Programs here in the Division of Student Affairs. One of my significant roles attached to the position is to run the UofL Parents Association. The Parents Association here at UofL has had a varied history. Probably dates back, a safe assumption, almost a decade. Really, some of the activities themselves probably forming in 2004, 2003, and a lot of that was spearheaded by a current employee in our division, Becky Clark. She was tasked with the opportunities of creating services and outreach to our freshman parents here at the University of Louisville. Becky herself expanded some of the things over time. For example, 2006 or so, you would see more of a formal gathering of the Parents Association as far as brochures and publications and more of an outward focus of the Parents Association. And a lot of those things that Becky had grown were things such as a newsletter that would actually go monthly to the parents of our freshman students here. She then eventually grew into a newsletter that went to sophomores. She also was able to create a parent hotline, a dedicated parent hotline. That way, if there were any questions, parents could call one single number and actually be able to get any kind of questions about the university answered specifically. Becky also eventually grew the opportunity to a family weekend. We had never had a family weekend, so there was actually an event focused on our campus to bring families back here, usually a month or so beyond once the fall semester had started. It involved a football game, a luncheon, and various activities that were surrounding campus, and this was always a good way to get families to come back, hang out with their students, let the students show them what was going on that they had gotten connected to on campus, things to that effect. So Family Weekend really was started with Becky specifically. She also had the opportunity to begin a Parent of the Year award. That started right around 2010. This was the opportunity through the Dean of Students office for students here at the university to nominate their parent to receive a Parent of the Year award. So every year we have our Dean of Students read all of these essays that the students submit. And I will have to say they're tearjerkers. They really are very strong sentiments of how all parents and families have contributed to the student success here. And then we honor all those that are nominated. And then one winner specifically is awarded the Parent of the Year award. So that started around 2010. So as you can see, this went from 2003, 2004 kind of timeline of just small opportunities to specifically engage with parents. And as Becky has done kind of a stair step in growing the opportunities, my role took over in about 2011. And the same kind of concept with me. We needed to kind of stair step and grow opportunities. So in 2011, we had an expansion into the newsletter. So the newsletter was typically just sent to freshmen and a little bit of communication to sophomore parents. And we completely opened the door and we began sending the newsletter to everyone. So anyone who had ever signed up for the Parents Association, we went back a couple years so that we were mailing an email every month to all families. So that has continued now. We send emails to more than 5,000 parents and families a month, and that has really been a significant contribution to make sure everyone is learning about what's going on. The newsletter itself is a broad kind of overview of what's going on campus on a monthly basis. It's also topical in nature, so anything that may be hitting our campus at that time, say it's fall break, or what if it's commencement, or Christmas break, or Thanksgiving, or finals time, midterms, those types of things. So there's information topical based on those different areas specifically. So that was a pretty big expansion there of a lot of our newsletter capabilities. 2012, we did a bigger expansion into move-in day. We did kind of a move-in day welcome tent. So now as students and families come here on campus, we set up tents at 5 different residence halls, and we welcome them from the Parents Association with snacks and water, maps. We sell these great shirts that say Proud Parent on them, and just give out information and helpful tips to parents and families while they're here. And we spread out to all the main concentrated areas that most folks are moving into. So that was a good expansion. That has held true. That has become a tradition that's expected now from the parents as they move in. They welcome to see us there handing them maps, information, water, and just smiling faces. As I said, we expanded into Welcome Week opportunities, but Becky early on had actually had an event when Welcome Week was only a Welcome Weekend. It was only 2 days, and now Welcome Week is a full week before classes. So Becky had a great event called the Parent Hokey Pokey, which really talked about situational things that their students may experience and the transition that they will experience between themselves and their student as they become a college student and leave the nest. So the move-in day opportunities were an expansion of that opportunity to have more exposure for parents and families during Welcome Week as they come on campus, so that this isn't just a singular focused event on students, because as we know, once the parents and families get here, it's a whole family coming to UofL. It's not just the student. And if you look at, I would say, the mission statement per se of the Parents Association, it is to provide programs, services, communication, and outreach to assist the parents and families with helping their students in the transition from freshman to sophomore, sophomore to junior, junior to senior, into graduation. Each of those transition points are times of growth for the student and times of growth for the family. And as we know, families have a strong connection to their students and have a strong power of influence as well. And if we can provide information to help them and resources and connecting points to help them talk with their student, it helps that student transition in a better way for each of those points. So going back to some of the expansion opportunities, so in 2012 we also began really kind of a exploration of using social media, and we also became much more involved in freshman orientation. So at every freshman orientation, there's also a concurrent parent orientation, family orientation session that goes on throughout the day. Initially, we were more of a welcoming, greeting kind of component for the Parents Association. We really felt that needed to expand and grow, so we became a welcoming point in the morning and having a face and mingling to a specific presentation in the mid-morning, to being involved in lunch, to being involved in a component in the mid-afternoon, and then staying there for dinner as well to meet with the families as they finish out their day. So we became highly embedded inside of freshman parent orientation specifically. And one of those things that grew out of this was the need for social media. So as I would talk with a lot of the incoming families, I found that most are using Facebook pretty actively, not as many using Twitter. So we began a Parents Association Facebook page in late 2012. We're now up over 1,600 likes. It's an active Facebook page. You see a lot of sharing of information. Literally, they will share the information to their students. And I've been told multiple times that it has been a very informative opportunity. So I kind of balance the newsletter with being a broad, topical, general information piece that goes out every month, with the Facebook page that is kind of daily small tidbits that gets shared about anything going on campus, whether that's financial aid, talking about certain deadlines, whether that's reach, talking about tutoring opportunities, whatever it may be that I feel can help a parent create a conversation with a student. That's what gets shared. So that way we have a broader communication strategy there between the newsletter and the Facebook and social media pieces there. So that was a good expansion in 2012, and that has grown and taking a stronger foothold within the Parents Association. So as you fast forward to 2013, one of the other things that we really felt would be important to introduce is a parent guide of sorts. All of our students here get a card book when they are incoming freshmen, and that card book has traditions, it has services, it has information. It's just a really good introduction to what being a Cardinal is. And I've always felt parents needed kind of a card book themselves, but a little more tailored and a little more reduced down on some of the information. So that's where we began the first ever parent guide. It is a card book for parents, basically. It's got services, websites, phone numbers, information about all the different resources and extracurricular. It's got the academic calendar, it's got a campus map. So this has become a really great opportunity for parents to have an information piece so that they can take home and have and keep with them. We keep it online as well as it's in physical print copy as well that they can pick up during orientation, and then during move-in day, during welcome week, during family weekend. We have it available at all those different opportunities as well. So that parent guide has been a really, really good addition. And we got a little more in 2013, a little more involved in orientation as well, doing some evening sessions just before dinner. So as you can see, we have continued, starting with Becky back in 2004 and on, we continue a more deep involvement with our families by adding programs, adding publications, adding services. So that's why I'm kind of going through this chart here. In 2014, we did a pretty big jump in some of the things we're doing as well. During family orientation, since we are highly involved now, two things happened. We expanded parent programming specifically during family orientation. In a collaboration with the Financial Aid Office, we now offer programming on day 2 of orientation. Traditionally, our orientation here, our freshman orientation program, is a 2-day program. Family orientation is a 1-day program with not as much going on during day 2 because the students are specifically doing advising functions, meeting with different academic officers, things to that effect. The families we have found were here on campus. They just didn't have a place to go. So we created day 2 programming. We created a parent lounge, and thanks to the University Club, they host a great space for us. And now parents had a place to hang out with Wi-Fi, air conditioning, beverages, things to just relax and connect to. Plus financial aid comes over and does a presentation specifically, and it answers one-on-one questions. While at the family lounge, we provide information about campus services, campus maps, and we even had folks from REACH come over and specifically talk with parents on any questions. This was very, very well received. Most parents have came up and said this was a good place for us to kind of rest, hang out, feel like we're valued, and give us a spot to kind of wait for our parents to finish out day 2 of orientation. So that was a very good involvement. One of the other things we did at the end of day 1 was create a family photo booth. We have a giant backdrop with a big cardinal bird pointing right at the family, saying proud cardinal parent, proud parent of a UofL student specifically. And that way they could come with their students and get a good picture, a high-res picture that we put on a Flickr site that they could download for free. So there was no monetary gain to this. This was simply a good way to acknowledge parents and families that they could have a start, a memento of the start of their cardinal career here at the University of Louisville. As many times that I tell families, yes, their student is here, but we want them to make an experience with UofL as well. And that was the goal of the photo booth and many of the other things we do, so they can begin to attach to the University of Louisville just as much as their student. So really we're at 2014 with some more growth opportunities ahead of us. We can provide more services, more opportunities. We can look at some of the benchmarking schools and see what else they do with parents associations. But historically, really a lot of our services began in early 2003, 2004. And then each year we have progressively added services, added publications, added programs, and reached out to families in newer and more deep ways so they can have resources, information, and understand the college experience from the beginning at the University of Louisville. One of the key points at the UofL Parents Association is that we believe when families are equipped with information, resources, and services, they can be positive influences in their students' experience here at the University of Louisville, whether that's understanding a transition point, finding where a certain building is, or understanding how a certain service works or who they need to talk to. They are key influencers, and that is our goal, to help them with the resources, services, and information to better their students' experience here at the University of Louisville.